Today I decided that I'm gonna be a hero. No more living on the sidelines for me. I even have the piece of paper to prove it. Yeah, I know, you guys probably wouldn't get most of this stuff, but being a hero is a lot of work. I think that's the cheese signal. Sorry guys, but I gotta go defeat some evil real quick. I'll be right back.
An hour later.
Man, being a hero sucks. All I ever do is get beat up all day, and all the other heroes make fun of me. Man, it's not like what is on TV. I'm not getting the girl or saving the day. All I'm getting are butt kickings. Man, it's just not fair. There's not enough of me to go around. Now, if I were 10 heroes, now that'd be a different story. Ben 10, a classic Cartoon Network show where a 10-year-old Ben Tennyson gets 10 aliens through a magic watch. You see what they're going for, huh? You get it, huh? The show is all about Ben Tennyson. Yeah, I know, big surprise. But Ben would be fighting off all different types of supervillains with his large roster of freaks. I remember when I got home from school as a kid, I'd run into the living room and turn on the TV, and run into my room to grab my Ben 10 toys and just... This series left a lot of kids with the feeling of pure thrill seeing Ben and eventually his cousin Gwen and Grandpa Max take on monsters. The show is just a true beauty to behold. Ben started getting new aliens during the season, and that kept growing and growing. So we're just gonna forget about the 10, right? Ben 10, Ben Tennyson. Who cares? Who cares? Who's mad? I'm not mad. Who's mad? You lied to me, Ben! You lied to me! Eventually, Ben 10 spawned to a new series, movies, action figures, and video games. But one of the things I remember most were the online games. I played these games all the time as a kid. Mom, I don't have time for breakfast. I'm working on my gaming reflexes. This was back when the internet was still young. Adobe Flash is what most games on the internet were played on. And man, these sure were games. A lot and a lot of trash. But the peak rose to the top. Obviously, most games on the internet now are way, way better than what was being put out back then. But dang, did these games have some heart. Cartoon Network especially had some pretty deep and intricate games for the time. And for this video, I'm going to be covering a lot of the online games that I was able to find, and the games that didn't look like they were going to crash my computer by just opening it. But now, it's hero time! Where's my oh my goodness. The game that I remember the most, and the reason I got the idea to make this video, was the Ben 10 Alien Game Creator. It was where you could make your own game using pre-built assets. I think Mario Maker, but made for men and not little dumb babies. Yeah, like I said earlier, a lot of the Flash games on the internet weren't able to survive. And while some of the games did survive, this one would not be able to. I'd assume the reason is that this game actually had online levels. They'd be able to interact with other people's levels that they'd make and aliens that you'd be able to use. And that would have been way too hard to just transfer over to these very, very not sketchy and not illegal websites. But there's no crying for the fallen. We must move forward. So we'll be playing instead Kraken Attack. World's second best thing since sliced bread. Probably. And can you guess what you do in the game? You beat up the Kraken. Wait, what? Did these guys even watch the episode the game is based off of? The whole point of the episode was to save the Kraken from, you know, being attacked and having their eggs stolen. And now we're just gonna beat the shit out of it? I mean, I'd be a little angry too if I was trapped in a small pond having this 10-year-old boy fire projectiles at me. If we just go ahead and ignore the logistics of the game, this is a pretty simple shooter. Just run around the circle, shoot all your projectiles at the beast, and don't get hit by the Kraken's famous vomit balls. You know, vomit balls. I remember this game being a lot harder when I played it when I was younger. Now, does that show that I've just gotten older and wiser in my gaming years? Maybe. Or it might show that I'm just the coolest person on the entire planet. Ladies, stop fighting. There's enough of me to go around. But besides that, there isn't much else to talk about with this game. A simple but slight enjoyment. Now, a game I couldn't be on the first try was another aquatic-based game. Power Splash. Ladies, where are you going? I beat Kraken Attack on my first try. Don't leave! The premise of this game is Gwen gets taken by the evil guys from the Kraken episode, and we have to save her only using Ripjaws and Stinkfly. Man, they really love that Kraken episode. One reason I like this game is it uses some of the more underappreciated aliens in Flash games, for obvious reasons. I mean, what are you gonna do with these two losers, huh? But both of the aliens here feel way too loose. And that's a theme with a lot of the games to come. Either you move way too precisely or way too loose. You'll just touch the keypad and these characters sometimes just act like they wanna run through a marathon. But this one overall isn't terrible. Ripjaws has a lot more game than Stinkfly. You move around, dodge the robot squids, and eat them to collect power-ups. Now if any of you, for whatever reason, are gonna try to speedrun this game in the year of 2025, the trick is definitely to stay at the top of the ocean with Ripjaws, so the robots can't hit you. You can obviously do it the way the game intended, but at a certain point the enemies become kinda unfair. And not to mention, Ripjaw's only attack has a 50% chance to just not, and then you'll get hit by an enemy that you clearly ate. His hitbox is almost non-existent. Sometimes you just pass through the health balls. Stinkfly is way more simple, baby simple. Hold down the spacebar and dodge the frying pans. Boom, bam, you win. One interesting side note of this game is they created brand new Omnitrix icons for both of the aliens here. I just have to ask, why? Out of everything you could put effort into, you put effort into something people were gonna see for half a second. Yeah, great use of assets, guys. And the worst part is, they don't even look good. You might as well have just used the pre-made silhouettes. They're already there. Those games overall were whatever. They're fine for what they are, but I wanna get into the big boy stuff. I'm tired of eating the vegetables. I want the pork chop. And this is where one of the most famous Ben 10 Flash games comes in, Samurai Warrior. This is another game based off a real episode. And this one actually isn't half bad. It's like your regular side scroller. You go from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen with Ben in his human form. And when you do get to turn into an alien in this game, it's actually less fun than just being Ben. I mean, can Four Arms Infinity produce ninja stars? I didn't think so. Both of the aliens here just feel added on than an actual core part of the gameplay. You don't even kill any bosses with them. You basically just use Cannonbolt and Four Arms to open doors. Also, Cannonbolt looks a little malnourished here. You eat breakfast, pal? You look a little off. But really, this game is pretty good for a Flash game. Not overly hard, and doesn't hit you with too many bullshit things.
So are we having fun? Did you maybe let out a little giggle, flare your nose a little bit? Well, that's over. These games go from playable to something you can't even imagine. Bad!
Our next game is Saving Sparksville, where lo and behold, we gotta save the town. Whoop-de-freaking-do. So you start out at Seat Blast and oh my goodness, these controls are ass. Instead of being regular controls like ASW or the arrow keys, you have to use the mouse to control Heat Blast. And you just feel like you have no control of where he's going ever. He just zooms around the fucking screen. But this pile of garbage at the shoot down is nearly impossible to hit. The first two parts are completely fine. It's pretty easy to aim at the sections of the body. But the third and fourth parts that go to his arms that, you know, are constantly moving, you just have to hope and pray to Granddaddy Gaming himself that you can even hit the damn thing. But if that was just a game, it would be frustrating, but still doable. But not only do you have to try and aim for these impossible targets, he starts throwing cars at you that you have half a second to move out of the way from.
Or you'll be on the side of the street with the rest of the roadkill.
It doesn't help that the foreground is constantly in your way. Half the time I couldn't even see where the cars were coming from because they were coming from below the foreground. Everything about this game is just the worst option they could have chose. I played this game for 2 agonizing hours to never make it past the Heat Blast section. What do Four Arms and Upchuck do that we're seeing in the title screen? Guess we'll never know. Speaking of upchucking, I was upchucking my lunch after playing Savage Pursuit, one of the other classics of Ben 10 Flash games. And this one's actually pretty inspired. Dr. Animo's used this time, who's actually a really underrated villain in the Ben 10 universe. And like all other games, we gotta go and stop him. This game's also pretty unique for letting you transform into aliens at will, with an actual cooldown function. All the aliens even have their own abilities that are actually at least somewhat interesting. This game barely functions correctly half the time. I bet the game had to be out the next day. Instead of fixing the problems, they just slapped some gum and some pocket lint in the router and said, "Great job, guys, now we can finally start doing our real job." This shit's comedy. The game never worked. Every single time I played this, I had a glitch that would completely break the entire thing. Sometimes I would just be stuck in his heat blast for the entire rest of the game. Other times, I would get thrown off the map for actually touching a little bit too much of the code in this rock. Both of the bosses I was able to get to broke every single time. This frog throw up is just stuck in this room forever now, and don't even get me started on the bat. So what's supposed to happen is after you beat the boss is supposed to chase you back to the RV. But no, the bat just stays at the start forever, never moving. Just loving the view of soft locking my game. That's just the glitches. The actual game isn't too enjoyable either. Every alien you switch to besides Heat Blast was not designed for this game. Cannonbolt comes back, and then there's a pretty cool idea where you can go much faster if you're rolling with him. But there's so many bottomless pits, you can only go about 2 seconds before you need to be bent again, or else you're just gonna get thrown off the map. Wildmutt, he gets these mine sections where you gotta sniff them out. Fun, right? No, wrong. The detection window on these mines are basically random. Sometimes you get a massive section. Other times, you'll need to be in the exact pixel to get the mines to appear. And I didn't even find a use for Wildvine. I never saw the apparent grab areas the game was telling me about.
This game has no redeeming qualities. There's no reason to play this game past the year of 1912. You could go build a game on Scratch and they would work better than this game does in total. Because it's garbage! But a hero wouldn't give up. What a hero would do is they get hit and then they get back up. And that's what I'm gonna do. Alien Strike, please save me from my imprisonment of these terrible games.
This game is the worst one by far. Shitty controls, useless alien transformations, lazy game design. Hell, they couldn't have been bothered to animate this guy turning around. And the music. This game embodies everything wrong with these games. And you know what? I'm done. I can't do these anymore. All of these games are so bad. There's no passion in any of these. They're just soulless content to put on a website. If they don't have to try, then what reason do I do? I'm not trying anymore. I'm just gonna pump this stuff out. Get as much money as I can.
Hello all. Today we will be playing. I can't do it. I can't.